Disconnected.
Good tool.
The marshals that caught the guy in East Cape, that's how they shot the officer.
They even have the technology, Flock has the technology that Kate Grover uses in the ghetto area. That when a gunshot goes off, it automatically tells you what caliber, turns all the cameras to where it would happen, and shows live video feed of every angle and everything over there. It notifies them in their office dispatch. And all the officers on the ground. It notifies them that a shooting that just went off and they know it instantly. The technology they have is amazing. It's hard to do criminal anymore.
Nobody.
It's like, hey, you used to be black over.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, it's a statement of support, and I guess it is. I mean, it's it would definitely make my job a lot harder. And I've seen these things, they show them a lot on some of these, I watch all the conferences on tech and all that. They're pretty cool. They're pretty awesome.
My question would be, since most of these cameras are gonna be set up on state highways and not county roads, what's the state of Illinois think about
They
this?
have no problem with it. They're in the permitting stage right now. So basically, just to let you know, they offered me to put them up in our county for free for 90 days and let us use them all we want. So they're in the permit stages right now. I said, if it's free and it ain't gonna cost us nothing, come put them up, let me see them. So they're supposed to be installed somewhere around December, is when they're gonna be installed, just for us to test them out. You know, I mean, anything free, I'm more than happy to come try it. But the state, all they do is apply for a permit and the state says fine. The only ones that you have to jump through a little bit of hoops is when they put them on the street lights. It takes a little longer to get a permit for that. But other than that, the state's fine.
Is it IDOT? It's open.
Yeah.
So is there grant money out for this? As you said earlier, that somebody got a grant for some of these, is this something we can apply for as well?
The grant money that we're using for the cameras. That's where that grant money goes.
So where did you say you wanted to put them at?
Now, we're gonna, that was a school safety grant.
Oh, the one that Vienna, that was the school getting a grant for camera systems and they used it for that. So there's gonna be 2 cameras on the intersection right there at the Ware Market. But it's gonna be across the street, kind of facing up north. There's gonna be 2 cameras there. There'll be a license plate reader camera and a live video feed camera that's watching the intersection and everything at the Ware Market. There's gonna be 2 cameras at 146 and 51, or no, 127 and 51, right there next to the fire truck place or trainers. There'll be a license plate reader there and a live video feed camera there. There's gonna be 1 or 2 on the Goldsboro Square, live video feed and a license plate reader. 2 at the 4-way stop. And then at the intersection that codes, there's gonna be 3. Because the intersection's so wide, you can't license plate read 3 lanes. So there's gonna be a license plate reader going on the southbound, 1 on the northbound, and then there's gonna be a live video feed camera that we can watch 24/7. And then you can add as many as you want or take away as many as you want anytime you want to do it. So the school cameras, so if Anna Junior High puts 2 out in front of theirs, it'll be a live video feed and a license plate reader. And then Lincoln, Dongola's putting 3 in, well, 6 actually. They're gonna put 1 at the intersection where the bank's at in Dongola. And then they're gonna put 1 at the entrance and the exit of the school. Well, there'll be the live video feed and live readers at both those places. So there'll be actually 6 cameras in Dongola. They've already approved before. I haven't heard nothing back from Jonesboro School yet. I've actually went and talked to every one of the schools except for AJ. I didn't make it to AJ, but I talked to every other school in the county. And sat down with them and explained it to them and asked them if they'd be interested. And most of them want it. It's just a matter of presenting to the board and getting it passed.
So there's a database somewhere that's got all the questionable license plates installed in it, and these readers are just looking for those plates.
No, the database is the state of Illinois. So if I get in the squad car right now and I call out your license plate to dispatch. Dispatch runs it through leads, and that's where we get the information. Well, these cameras are running through the same place we run. So it is nationwide. It will tell you anything, anybody that's running or that has a license plate in the United States.
But it's doing every vehicle, not just one.
It can run a license plate and take a video, a photo of it and everything at midnight, running 100 miles an hour. It can run a license plate. The ones that they mount, they have them mounted on cars, they can run 3 license plates at one time, running 70 miles an hour.
That's what we want, on the speed.
No. Now, if you want it set up
No,
somewhere,
you're good.
Safe.
no.
If we're doing 100 miles an hour.
For instance,
Takes me long enough to get to Coca-Cola. We can slow down.
the dash cameras that we are installing in squad cars that are approved, they actually have a license plate reader built into them, so the deputies do not have to run a license plate. Right now, they drive down the road and they run a license plate like this. The in-car dash cameras we have runs every license plate they run, so they will no longer have to run. Look, take their eyes off the road.
More eyes on the road.
They will do every one of them themselves and tell them.
Yeah, your neck.
So what about a vehicle that's just bought and they don't have a front license plate?
The way the license plate reader runs, it runs either direction. You know, like, for
Is it
instance,
going back actually too?
yes.
Or the other way?
One more question, does it come with all the stuff you need down at the sheriff's office to watch on?
Yes, it will be on it can be installed in any cell phone you have, any laptop, any
You don't need
computer.
any kind of.
We don't have to have anything extra, no monthly fees of any,
No, the 13,500 pays for the complete system for the whole
and then we'll have 13.5 again for the following,
For the next year.
for the next year as
year.
well.
Yes, yes. Unless, next year you guys are so happy with it, you want to have more.
So the cameras in their cell will not belong to us, we are not buying the camera. It's their cameras they're putting up, we're paying for the service. So if we ever decide we don't want them anymore, they come take their cameras.
And if they need to be updated at one.
They'll take care of all the updates too, so that's fine. It's hands-free for us.
You know how it is nowadays. Nothing, you don't buy nothing. Right? So, this is just the way we're paying for their service and they charge us $3,000 a camera, is what it is. So basically it's $3,000 per camera, but if you add a live view camera, it's $500. So they charge you $3,500 for 2 cameras alone. They waive the fee for installing any of it. If we chose to do it, they would not charge us for any installation or anything. This is just the price of the cameras for one year.
Any questions? Nope. Okay, just a comment, so you guys know, apparently everything before I walked up there and pushed that button again didn't have voice. So the stuff at the beginning didn't have voice. It does now. The next item we have on the list is from maintenance. This first item is, which would have to be bid out. But we're talking about asphalting the area over there where the highway department building is. So the big blue highway department building is falling down. They moved out of, we're having it taken down. And then this would be the money to asphalt that area so that it could be parking lot again. Which I think would be really helpful because there's lots of times we need more. And then the second item that Adam has asked for is for a snowplow 72-inch dual hydraulic angle. Obviously that's self-explanatory. He wants it to be able to hook to the vehicle to plow the parking lots. In all honesty, he could probably buy this year in his budget and still be okay, but.
I think that's for the tractor.
Oh, for the tractor. Oh, it is.
For the tractor.
It is for the tractor.
Yes, I think that's what he said. It takes the bucket off of the tractor, the loader we already have, and puts that onto the loader so we can plow snow with the tractor instead of using the bucket.
They cost $40,000 just to asphalt that little bit down there.
I think that's for that entire park area.
It is. Well,
It's not just where the building is.
no, it's for the whole
It's
area,
that whole lot.
the whole lot over there, so their parking lot and where the building is. So basically, where you go down and then it turns into rock, all
Where
right
our
there,
parking lot stops and the oil chip
it would
begins.
just all be one parking lot. Any other questions on those two? All right, next we have the state's attorney's request. The first request is for a salary to hire a second assistant state's attorney at an $80,000 salary. The reason this is less is because, trying to refresh your memories, going back several years ago, we had money in the budget for 2 ASAs, but they would need to be 2 ASAs right out of college. Instead of doing that, we combined the money together and paid ASA Lloyd a higher wage and just had one. And then when he left, we used the higher wages to just pay one again. But there was a little bit of money left over. So that's why this year for this request, it's only $65,180, going forward, it's an $80,000 position. And then this is the benefits just on the additional money. So this would also be a little higher going forward, because you have the full benefits for that.
So, do you want to make sure I said something about our budget surplus this year? Do you remember what that number was? About $40,000. Projected.
You're projected to come in under budget 44,000.
So, I'll start off with that, gentlemen.
That's not you. Sorry. The sheriff, you're projected to come in $4,400. Okay, here we go. You say you'll take it? Yeah. 53.
Okay, so we did better. We're running under budget.
One more, can we find a different line item?
And I think this will be our second or third year running under budget. I have made a significant request to add an ASA position. There are different reasons for that. I want to make sure I explain why. Long story short, we are spread too thin. Our workload and man hours have increased quite a bit on a case-by-case basis over the past 2 years. You've heard us harp and gripe about the Safety Act for 2 years, and I'm going to do it again today. The amount of time that we have to spend now just addressing pretrial release, pretrial detention, preparation of cases and arguments for those particular issues, consuming a large amount of our available man hours that normally would have been devoted to casework, investigations, drafting of motions and arguments. We're spending a lot of hours in live court as well on a regular basis to keep us out of the office and not able to do the work inside the office to prepare cases for trial, to develop our investigations further, to write pleadings and those kinds of things. I have worked pretty hard in the past to fill a number 2 assistant position for less money. But the reality of things is you can't expect an attorney to come and stay with you for any amount of time for $50,000 or $60,000. You heard the discussion earlier about the public defender's office and other offices, assistants coming in $80,000 and $90,000 there. That's pretty much where you have to be looking if you're going to expect to attract someone that you can not only hire, but retain. I say not only hire because when Mr. Lloyd left after moving on to Johnson County, we had that job, we posted that job opening early in anticipation of his departure. There was we couldn't attract anyone for that position until we increased it drastically, up over $100,000. Now keep in mind, that's the number 1 assistant's position. There's more job responsibilities and obligations for that position. I'm asking for funding for a lower level position at $80,000 to be a number 2 assistant. Again, bringing a number 2 assistant in allows us to spread the casework around more. Right now, you've got all the casework that we do, high crime felonies, misdemeanors, traffic, DUI, domestics, juvenile cases, juvenile neglect cases spread between 2 attorneys. When we had 3 attorneys in the office, we could spread that load a little bit more evenly, and it allowed us to work our cases more. I say work our cases more because right now, we met with the sheriff's office yesterday, our numbers are up. Case referrals from law enforcement are up, the numbers are up. Our total cases filed this year for criminal felonies all the way down essentially are higher than what they were last year already. We've got 2 months to go in the year. So our workload is increasing, which is good. That means we've got proactive policing and we're getting cases charged. But we have to be able to prosecute those things, not just show up to court and file papers. We have to be able to prosecute them. By that, I mean, we need to be able to take cases to trial. We need to be able to prepare cases for trial. That means we can't spend every waking hour that we have doing pretrial release arguments and showing up to court for status hearings in the office working those cases. Right now, the majority of our time is spent in live court, and trying to deal with a lot of the pretrial issues. We don't get the time that we need to work cases, to develop them, and take a stiffer posture. That puts us in a position of having to negotiate to resolve cases by plea, sometimes compromising the sentences that we would rather have. I would rather send someone to prison for 10 years maybe than 5, but when we have to prioritize cases based off of manpower and workload, we can't take every case to trial ever, but we also sometimes have to really, reevaluate our position on dispositions, i.e. sentences, just because we're trying to keep cases moving. A little bit more help in the assistant state's attorney's area will really open up our options for, like I said, taking that stiffer position, pushing our cases harder, taking more cases to trial, but also absorbing the workload that we're already spread very thin. It's a new world. It changed a lot in 2023. I think we've done very good adjusting and working with it, with what we have available. But we want to do more. I say we want to do more also because I talked about prosecution and going to court and everything. But personally, for myself, I also need to be able to give the county offices, officials, and you all as much time as you need from me for counsel, advisement, and assistance on various other business, legal, and administrative matters. It's not just prosecution and going to court for me. It's a lot of things beyond that. And I want to be able to do my best for you, the county, and all the officers as well. Adding another official or another state's attorney assistant would help me to spread myself around more effectively in that way. Again, in number, as far as what I'm requesting, that's a $65,000 increase over what we already have some excess payroll budget in there. It's not being used because we've had to shift and move some things around. For one, we lost a victims advocate recently as well. You remember we lost our federal funding for one of our victims advocate positions that totally cut one of our support staff out of the office when that happened. So we've had to shift some money around for that. That's just added to the workload of the attorney as well because we're having to do more things, that normally we could have relied on a victims advocate to assist us with. Our victims advocate, Mallory Penn, is doing a great job doing what she does now. She works her tail off, absorbing the workload of essentially 2 people as she can, but that still has to be spread out throughout the office. So, again, we've come in under budget the past 2 years, and we've ran pretty lean as far as, what I think could be expected. But based off of what I'm seeing, like I said, numbers are going up, and we want to see that. We want to prosecute more crime. We want to charge more crime. We want to have more investigations. We've got my mission, like I discussed with law enforcement yesterday, is to start doing more proactive and aggressive drug enforcement in the county. That's going to increase our work hours as well. And other systems really help us do the best job.
Do you have the case number? Like, how many cases were filed this year versus how many cases were filed last year? You know, this is the one I always push back on. There's no offense to Tyler. I just, adding people scares me because it's expensive. Once you add them, you're not gonna eliminate the position. So it's gonna be this going forward. And we, just so you know, hired the current assistant at $120,000, which was way more than what we wanted to, but that's what we had to get him to come here at 100%. So I just think that it just worries me not to add an additional person.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean we have to keep that person. That position can be cut at any time.
It can, but it's really hard to cut.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
You'll have a median here.
Part of it could be cut just left and right, no problem.
Yeah,
Median
I'm
down
just
there.
saying that because the last time, which has been a long time ago, we had just a part-time person, we had a news station here.
Somewhere.
So 2024, 150 criminal felony cases filed. That's on the year. This year, as of yesterday, we're right at 160 cases filed. Domestic violence cases were at 16 last year, was 14. Traffic cases were already at 660. There were 601 last year. Major traffic, that's misdemeanor traffic, we're at 245. We're at 190 with 245 last year. We're going to pass that number this year again. And criminal misdemeanors were at 85 this year and 51 last year. So again, numbers generally are up across the board on everything over last year already with 2 months ago. So I expect that to, obviously that will definitely increase. No doubt. Just, I mean, for reference, that's almost 1,000 counts charged in each one of those cases. So you have the case, but you have multiple crime victims case charged. So yeah, numbers are definitely going to be up this year, and I think they'll be up going forward. Implementation of the Safety Act and all that slowed us down some. Took a lot of adjustment, I think, across law, generally as well prosecution to catch up and figure out how we want to operate. So I'm real happy to see the numbers.
With the increase in numbers, we also increase our revenue here, correct?
Say again?
With the increase of numbers, are we creating more revenue for ourselves or just more work?
We're not creating
There's,
revenue.
so they cut, when the 2 years ago, a lot of the state directives changed as far as how fines and fees were distributed, not to mention 90% of our defendants now are always our public defender clients. They file a waiver for court fees every case to get to where they essentially have all of their fines or fees, part of their fees cut off of the judgment. They don't even have to pay. So I'm not going to sit here and act like we're in business here to make money in the prosecution. It's just not the way the system's set up. Now, if you want to try to look at it from a fiscal point, law enforcement, as far as, taking people off the street, putting them on restrictions and those kind of things on the whole, we hope, stops damage in the community, stops loss, stops theft, stops those kinds of things. So, as far as profit, making profits, no, that's not ever what it has been really and everything.
I guess my question is, this is rooted way back, everybody's entitled to a speedy trial.
Correct, which that was shortened by 30 days gave us a much smaller, we're now working, it used to be 120 days for speedy trial for someone in jail. The Safety Act happened 2 years ago, we now have 90 days. So we're trying to do that much more work, much less time.
So another person would make you more effective in that.
Sorry, yeah, I mean, that's, in many ways, yes.
And that'd be doing the people, right, you know, because you're not leaving them out in limbo waiting on trial.
Correct.
Yeah.
We want to take more cases to trial.
Yeah. And you want to do them in a timely fashion.
We have to, in certain circumstances, we don't have a choice. Yes.
You have to do it in a timely fashion.
If they're on a speedy trial and they're in custody and they want to go to trial, we have to go to trial, we have to let them out. Certain people, we just do not want to let out.
Irregardless of how much
Even,
attention
and
you
keep
gave.
in mind, it's not easy to keep someone in jail or put them there at all. So those ones that we do have in jail, if they want a trial, okay. But realize, the trial essentially shuts down and makes half of our office because you have to devote the majority of all resources in your office for days or a week, talking to witnesses, getting evidence together, writing pleadings. It's not just we show up on a Tuesday and have a trial. There's a lot that goes into that I think if you're not there doing it with us, it's hard to understand just the amount of manpower it takes.
I guess my next question would be for the sheriff's department. Do you guys anticipate any percentage of how many the plate readers coming through would be interesting people?
Well, with having them there, that's the whole idea.
It's going to,
So that would increase in.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, one thing is going to affect another thing.
Any other questions? And the second thing that the state's attorney's office has asked for is, for $15,000 because there's a possibility, kind of talking about, they lost one victim's advocate grant, that was our grant that was called BCBA, and we currently have, I'm sorry, the one we have is BCBA, the one we lost. So this BCBA grant might also be going away.
So that's a cost, that's just a precaution. And this would just be a contingency request. We lost federal funding for other victim advocate position. That person is no longer have that position in our office. So two positions are combined into one, that being the BOCA position. I'm sorry, BCBA. That's Mallory Bennett's position. I've seen some things, just news-wise related to federal funding and whatnot. The posture of our state government versus the federal government can sometimes gives us concerns about, what money might be spread where. I have not been told that funding will be cut. It was cut slightly this year by, I think, $600. And I don't have any clear indication for sure that it would be cut. I just asked for that as a contingency backup so we can continue to keep that position a full-time position if worst case.
Moving along, the next office is for the county clerk's office. She has asked for 2 new tablets for early voting and then the software for the tablet. I'll let Stephanie explain, but I think this is they have to have it.
What this is it's called poll books, election poll books, and since we switched vendor from Platinum to GDS, their early voting process requires at least 1 tablet. Now, when we're talking to the other counties, they are switching to poll book voting. That's something that we're gonna have to be thinking about in the future, but for right now, need at least one, but two is recommended if each one of them goes down. One costs, $36.50 with $250 a year license.
By these, because if you don't have these, you can't do early voting. I don't think you really have a choice.
I don't think that's.
It's just, I put them on there so she can tell you about them, but normally I would just put something like that.
No, that's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna skip over the assessors because she's asked for me to call her during when we're ready to do that, so I'll skip her for a minute and go on. The next category is for the court system. This request came in from Judge Denny, can't be here today, he's in Mattack County. He did say he can talk to you at a different board meeting or something if he needs to, but he is requesting for us to have a full-time victims advocate. Would be paid $20 an hour, plus benefits, and, you know, I don't have the benefits on here, but, basically working full-time. And so, like Tyler explained, that Mallory has only half of her grant, or has half of her time paid by a grant. The other half of the time, she helps Tyler out with office doing whatever he needs. Judge Denny thinks we need to have a full-time victims advocate. He said the number of OPs has gone up drastically. I don't have those numbers, but that's what he says. And so that he's requesting this. Let's see if there's any questions about that.
So if one of these, since we started with Tyler first, if we end up giving him a second assistant over there, does that not take care of some of the victims advocate position for any side, for some of that help, or?
I don't think so, because I think the person that Tyler will be hiring will be doing cases, but they're not going to help victims. So
Okay.
what he's saying is that we're having victims come in that need help filling out the orders of protection. And so without a full-time victim advocate, they're having to do it themselves, and they're coming to the courtrooms and they get the paperwork. And so that's what he does.
In that position, do you have to have any kind of degree to do that?
No, I don't think Mallory has a specific degree for being a victim's advocate. Not that I know of.
So we're talking about hiring somebody to help somebody fill out paperwork? I'm dumb, so I'm asking the question. I'm really dumb,
Very
so.
much so.
They do more than just paperwork. I mean, they talk to the victims, they go to the victim report, they help them find a woman's shelter if they have to do that. They do all the things, whatever the victim needs. Mostly gets them to go to court.
Well,
It's the same thing
I
Mallory's doing
I
though, full time.
want to clarify that. There's a big difference between just filling out OP paperwork and all of the things that Mallory does as a victim advocate in our office, as far as victim support, advocacy, communication, cases. It's not just OPs. And I think it's also important to note that every person that walks through the courthouse front doors wanting a order of protection is a reported crime victim item. People can pursue order of protection because they have a dispute with their neighbor, a boyfriend, girlfriend, involved. So just because it says OP doesn't necessarily mean they're a victim of crime. Sometimes, and a lot of times, people will pursue OP that we don't know anything about from my office or even the sheriff's or law enforcement in the county. Why they're there, or if there's a crime associated.
And the thing about an OP is that if the victim's advocate doesn't do it for them, anybody can write their own OP. That's just part of the deal. They fill out their own paperwork and put it in the judge.
So, you know, if you was fighting with your neighbors or someone keeps home or whatever, you can do that too. So, yeah, we get lots.
Any other questions on that? Okay, I put the benefits in there. The next item on the list that he has asked for is the stenographer machine. Our stenographer machines, we have two, are really old. So, I can't even tell you the purchase before I started working this. I don't know how old they are, but he's asking for a new machine for $6,300 and wanted you to keep in mind that the other machine's gonna need to be replaced probably next year or soon. So, that machine. So, do you have any questions on that? You know what I'm talking about, like the court reporter takes. And then the last item he's asked for, which is minimal, but I put it on here because, I think it's a dual request, is a desk for pretrial services. If you remember, pretrial services was a new thing that was started last year or the year before. We had to find a space for them here in the courthouse. So they're using one of the attorney-client rooms right outside the courtroom. That's kind of, we made that into their office. Apparently, he doesn't like the desk he has, and he's asking for a new desk. I don't know why the state of Illinois can't find him a new desk. He's not our employee, but that's my opinion. Yeah, so you guys can decide on that. That's what said it's
You answered your
minimal.
own question.
Well, it's minimal, but apparently the state of Illinois won't buy him a new desk, so they're asking for.
But there's a desk in
I think so.
there. I think you can say yes to the stenographer. Let's move on.
Do you guys agree on the stenographer?
Yeah.
Shake. And you agreed to no on the desk?
Yeah.
Okay, then besides for Tammy's, which I'll come back to, I put this down as the commissioner's request. So if you remember last year, Southern Seven had sent us a letter and they wanted us to increase our tax levy by, it was like over 200% or something like that. We didn't agree. We gave them I think it was a 5% increase. That's what we gave them. And then we said, that's all we're doing. So this year, once again, they're asking for us to increase our levy. They sent the information that shows like what the other municipalities are paying versus us. I would say per capita, we are not paying our share if the other people are paying the right amount. But anyway, so I put a small increase in there anyway, because that way it would go up, but I didn't know if you wanted, I just do this number. If you want to allocate more money to Southern Seven, then we'll have to put it in.
That's your increase number there.
It's just an amount I do out there. I mean, you can increase it anything. You can tell me to increase it 10,000, you can tell me to increase it 50,000. So if I go to, I did exactly what we did last year. So last year, we just told them that they would be getting a 5% increase, so I did another 5% increase this year. So I've already got the 5% built in there. This is just to keep talking to you about it if you want to increase it by 1%. So,
Special fund, what exactly does that pertain?
the Southern Seven has their own fund, so it's still money that's coming out of the same pot of money, but they have, those are notes, so I know where we'll have the money to. So if you look like on the budget, I have pulled up right here, Southern Seven has its own fund. So if you give them more money, it goes in here. And when a place like this, an organization has their own fund, once we give them this money, that's where it has to stay. So if you levied for them and then didn't give them all the money, you can't use that money on anything else, because you said it's for Southern Seven.
What is that dollar amount for the 5% of that? I can't read that.
The increase or
Yeah.
the total?
No, what you got to square right now that we've already budgeted?
It says $57,350. That's what
That was with the 5%.
that has the 5%. So the 5% increase was $2,730. That's what we're paying them, more than last year. But in total for this year, I have us to give them $57,330. But they're asking for, it was over $100,000. I know we can't get there. I just wanted to put it on there so we keep in mind that we probably need to work to get this levy up, unless you guys just are not. I struggle with this because obviously I think when they gave us the percentages or the statistics of what everybody else is paying, we're not paying on the same rate. At the same time, I know that Southern Seven hired a lot of people during COVID, and they didn't let go of those people when COVID was over. So they have a lot more personnel expenses, in my opinion, than what they need. But that's my opinion. So, but that's what this is. Legal counsel bills, I always put this on for you every year. Currently, we have budgeted $150,000. In 2024, we budgeted $100,000. I have $150,000 going into the budget next year. But as we know, that seems to never be enough. So if you want to put more in it, you can, or if you want to just keep the $150 and have the bills come to you at the end of the year like they always do, you can leave it and not have it.
I'll be able to, my understanding, next year, use money out of the grant to cover some of those.
He's talking about the public vendor grant. Yes, it kind of, we're up in the air on that. I really don't know. Judge Denny is the one that secures that grant. I asked this year if I could use it to pay some legal bills, and he did not want to use it for that. I wanted to roll it over for next year and then see how they're going to spend it. So, but if they don't spend it on anything else, I would definitely recommend us putting it toward legal bills rather than getting it back.
Is next year the last year for that?
It's uncertain. So as I was showing Andy before we started everything, the Public Defender Act, House Bill 3363 was approved this year. So the Office of Statewide Public Defender. That goes into effect on July 1st of 26. We're not sure if they're going to request the extra back. Judge Denny and I have discussed, and we'll get you that, approve whatever's spent out of it. I will leave the statements about not spending it yet on legal bills to Judge Denny. That's not something I'm going to get into.
No, I know.
But as it goes to whether or not I can give it back, we're uncertain. So my plan moving forward is, and I kind of talked to Judge Denny a little bit yesterday about it, is if he doesn't want to spend it on legal bills just yet, then I mean, obviously that's half the decision making where it's kind of an impasse there. My plan is anything the Public Defender's Office needs before July 1st, which when we first got the money, I did all new computers. You guys are gracious to give us space upstairs, furnish those, and didn't even put a dent in what we got. You know, and I thought I was spending money like crazy. My plan is, I mean, we have. I bought enough office supplies that we're probably good for another 3 years. So my plan is anything that we absolutely need, like Adam just had his brand new laptop go down. We're going to fix the old one so we keep it as a backup for my intern. Anything that we need, obviously, I'm going to try and pre-plan. Come June, I believe the understanding between Denny and I is I might make like a big office supply grab. Even with a sense of a little bit, it's not going to put a dent in it.
160,000.
Yeah, it's not going to really put a dent in it. But I believe by then, to be honest with you, I don't have anything that is truly needed that money can be spent on, that I think we're going to complete it before July 1st. So my understanding is come June, it's going to be probably given the all clear to pay outstanding legal bills with what's left. So we don't want to give it back to so. That's my understanding moving forward. I believe, Angie, I think the only thing I wanted to confirm, it's in there, but it's one of the line items that can be adjusted and moved.
Oh, yeah. And if you know now anything else, I can still move this money. I put in everything I knew afloat. So your part-time people, all that. And that's why I sent the email out like, what else are you going to spend it on? So I know what category to put it in.
And we build you an office building.
So I put $109,966 in the 2026 budget for legal bills, but if you know that you're gonna hire another person, I can move to employees. If you know you're gonna do something else, yes, that money can be moved to category.
Yeah, and actually, you are correct, but in the beginning, even I was uncertain that we thought this might just be a 1 year kind of, well, the 104,000 that 1 year, and we thought the state was gonna come for a few more years. So yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it probably could have been if we'd have known. But as it goes right now, I mean, I'm not gonna forget it. It's likely on every wish list item that I think I want. That this money could be spent on. There's obviously some things outside of that, you know. I'm gonna look into it to see if, there is the software that the state attorney's office uses that, I used to use, the PDK. There is now a defense version. Been emailing me wanting to sell me. I was going to look into see one if it's even beneficial. The only reason I would even contemplate it is if it was making things more efficient for Tyler. If the two systems could speak to each other, you know, things like that, maybe maybe it's worth it. But at the cost of what it was, I don't really see the benefit unless it can do some of those things. There are some things I was going to look into, but even that's not going to. Yeah,
I just think it's absurd that we have to take money out of the general fund to pay these excess legal bills when the money's sitting there and nothing to spend it on. I just don't like that. Sorry, that was giving you my opinion.
Max, I think, as I say, that's a part of the argument that's not mine. So I'll leave that. You guys need to get Jenny. I do understand what's coming from all that, especially with me conceding that I'm not going to be able to spend all that money. So I do understand that. I will leave that part of that.
I'm just throwing that out.
So I had a feeling that would be the view of Mr. Miller and the board.
Mr. Miller.
So, well, right here, I was just leaving in case we want to put extra money in there, the 150, but I will say, and Daniel, this is probably a question for you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, I usually ask you ahead of time, but, like, I know at one time, we thought that number was gonna start dropping when we hired, when we put that position, and we thought the third party, what I call third party legal bills would drop. Are you still using this money?
Hourly rates doubled. The state now requires $150 an hour. We used to pay the county set legal fee $75 an hour.
So it might not be so much that the hours.
Oh, you're right. I didn't think about that. So that's a good point, because we budgeted.
I remember that.
Might literally double the amount. So even if the hours go down, it's not gonna be something that you guys dealt in the budget, I'm sure, just yet because of that.
And I would say the majority, because I think close to the majority, are for juvenile cases.
Yeah.
That's almost every legal bill I see.
That's because you have multiple public defenders. You have to call in on as needed basis outside of what we have available here. You have to represent children, parents, multiple parents in one case.
And so am I correct that if it was a juvenile case, each kid has to have it separate?
Not the children. So the children have the GAO, which is WIP. And so one family comes in and just say it's a mom and there's a little small one, a mom and two dads. Right there, I will have the mom or one of the dads. Adam will have the other. But there's always a third parent, and then you also have Webb. Even if they have to combine 6 kids, Webb takes all the kids. So, but then right there, 2 dads, 1 mom, and kids are 4 attorneys. So 2 from the public defender's office, but then we're always having to keep the fees on Webb. We have to have an EAL. So even if it's just 2 parents, we automatically have a third attorney tacked on by state law. But as Mr. Tripp can probably attest to, a lot of the time, this isn't just a mom and 1 dad, unfortunately. It's usually, I have one case that has a mom and 5 dads, and everybody has to have an attorney.
It's a circus in that courtroom. And you run into a lot of issues of conflict as well, because our PDs might be just the nature of these cases. A lot of times people who have a DCFS case going on have criminal cases going on. So they might already have a PD from in the courthouse here representing them. But because of that representation, there's a conflict involving juvenile case. So we have to pull in one of these outside public defenders that we have to pay a la carte, basically, to take care of that conflict issue.
we try real hard, Adam and I, and coordinating with Tyler and Tom to make sure that if I have a parent, and it's, a lot of these cases are based on criminal. So if I have a dad in the juvenile case, I'll take that dad because it's just unfortunately familiar relationships out there sometimes. I might not even be able to have that same dad in a juvenile case because I represent another dad who has children with his mom and another. Like there's just a lot to it. So yeah, even the simplest of cases can require 3 outside attorneys just outside of me. So,
But yeah, that increase in the overall billing, year over year, that's, a lot of that you're seeing based off of the rate. A whole bunch. We're not using them that much more frequently necessarily.
So anyway, if you want to put additional money or you leave it at 150, that's up to you. The next item on there is for a new server. Our IT company, Mayor Networks, has said that our server is, needs to be replaced. It's, the term they use, out of line or whatever. So basically, I mean, it's working, and we can keep the same server we have, but if it breaks, it is not supported by Dell anymore because it's too old. We did buy the server. Crazy enough, we bought a server, it was like $45,000 7 years ago. I know the prices have gone up, it seems like a lot. I do think that he's trying to quote on the high end, so just because he didn't know when we would buy it and prices, may increase. So it may be a little bit more than that, but that's the amount that they're estimating for a new county server. This is the server that houses all of our stuff. So. Any questions on that? And obviously, I have no way of knowing if we need a new server or not, because that is not my expertise.
So do we wait till it crashes?
Well, I don't think you want to do that, because you'll take down the whole warehouse.
Servers, they're not made in this country, are they?
I don't know.
So they may or may not be affected by tariffs.
Could be. But yeah, our server is 7 years old, which, with a computer, you say its life is 5 years. Most things that are technology related don't live more than 5 to 7 years. So it doesn't surprise me that we need a new one, but that costs a little.
I mean, that's why we pay him to go on his judgment.
Absolutely.
We can't sit here and let the thing crash, that's for damn sure. You know what it's gonna cost us a ton more.
we're 7 years integrated, so I mean, we're 7 years integrated with it. So,
Yeah.
Well, and everything year over year goes more into technology-based, digital-based, as far as even like our office with the sheriff, our data exchanges and storage and those kind of things have really gone up with body cam mandates and those kind of things. And that's everybody. I think that's every office, year over year. Reliance on digital storage and just server-related tech.
I think it's something.
I think you are too, because I don't think you want it to go down. Now, this is 135,000, so we're gonna have to bid it out. So if this price, somebody else can get it to us for better, then yeah. But this is
I
that,
think he's put the top
yeah.
Andy, can I ask, is this like an expanded server? Because I know there's always been issues, video that Tyler and I sent back and forth, the body cam and all that. I know that we've had to talk to the mayor about how we kind of open it the way we open it because it uses more space. Is this, do we know if this kind of incorporates additional storage or to at least maintain us at what we're doing now? Yeah, it's kind of what I just wanted to, that might explain some of the increase, the increase, that's all I was asking. But you have to realize that Tyler's got a body cam, he's got 3 gigs of body cam in a file, he sends it to me. Well, it's technically in the same server, so now we all of a sudden have 6 gigs of body cam, but because we can't have our crossfire rules. So everything Tyler has is automatically double because I have to save that well, so.
I can't answer that question. I would assume so, because I know the current one we have, we bought it, we could add space to it.
Yeah.
And we have added space to it, so that's the case. This is the quote.
Yeah, the quantities for sure as well.
Yeah, so
Also, they might already be projecting needing all that additional space. But then that wouldn't mean an increase isn't quite. It's not 90,000 for, more for one. The quantity two.
well, see, it says quantity two and the individual cost is 48,000, which is right in line with what we paid last time. But then if you go down here, then there's something else that the vault, which is another 37,000. I don't know what the vault is.
That's
There's the total.
Yeah. You like the air cooled or everything. Carolina storage. I'm so sorry to take away.
No, you're
Hey,
fine.
I'm just kind of curious.
That's that one. And the last thing is what I just added on here was for us to get a
just put an
TV and upgrade, so we don't have all these words. And so the recording voice will work from the beginning of our meeting. That's what this is. So can I put a yes here? It's not that much, but we need something to make it better, I think. Okay.
And you might as well just put the 150 in there for the legal fees.
150 is already in the budget.
So we're
This is
already
if
good,
you
they
wanna
want to
do
increase,
more.
okay, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to increase.
And then the last one would be the assessors. Are you ready for me to call her? Are you good with me calling her? She's gonna be better at explaining this now. Hey, Tammy, it's Angie. I got you on speakerphone in the boardroom. So we've gotten to your category, and I was gonna let you kind of explain to the board. So just the charges wise, what she's asking for is to be able to put our maps on the internet. So it's like a one-time charge of this $12,093. Then the reoccurring charge is this almost 6,700, and then this 5,000 is also a one-time charge for like onboarding, basically training and stuff like that. So, Tammy, do you want to explain what the map on the internet means?
I did the map on the internet, and I apologize, I had sinusitis, so I sound a little hoarse. Getting the map online would mean that realtors, appraisers, general public could just pull our map up online. If you look at Williamson, if you look at Jackson, if you look at Massac, different counties, most counties have that capability. We have held off and tried to sign on with DevNet to offer this service, which they told us they were working on. We got DevNet for a tax system, and it just has never come to fruition. Their GIS department has not grown, and they're just not able to do it. They probably admitted that to us this year. Every year I put that 2,500 in my budget, because that's what they estimated it would cost to add that on to our existing Wedge DevNet site. It's just not gonna happen with them. And I guess it makes sense as I see all these other counties using Bruce Harris and Associates, who we use also for other services, sign on with them in this subscription-based, format. The one time, and then the, $553 basically a month for quarterly updates. Now, the $5,000 amount, that is an estimate of 1,000 to 5,000. That is for something completely different. That is because for our mapping, and this doesn't just have to do with the online mapping, ESRI, the company that we use for our mapping software, is eliminating the ArcGIS. They're not going to support it anymore. They're moving on to ArcGIS Pro. So it's a new software. Bruce Harris is telling us they're giving us a range of 1,000 to 5,000 to help us with that migration to that new mapping software. So it could be 1,000, it could be 5. All they could do is give us a range, for budgetary purposes.
And it's a one-time cost, right? This is like basically training.
Yes, and to make sure all of our parcels get. That is separate from this online. If you want to look at it as two separate things, yes, the online, getting it back online is, the 18,729.43. But that 1 to 5,000, which made that, I think, Angie was at 23,000 something, was part of this new request.
What are you talking about?
You had the online portion, and then I think you
Oh.
had 5,000 too.
Yes.
And that came up with the 23, but I'm telling you that within that additional 5, it could be 1,000, it
Right.
could be 5,000, it may not be the whole.
Correct. But I put 5,000 because we can't go backwards. I want to have more. So. But I'm glad you said that because I thought they were related. I thought it was for training for the map on the end.
It's almost as if the 1 to 5,000 or the migration is like non-negotiable. When I'm saying that, they are not going to, DSRI is not going to support our GIS. So we have to pay for that migration in order to be able to do our mapping.
Okay.
Because our software is, not going to be supported anymore.
Did you guys have any questions about that?
And if you want to get on some other counties and pull it up, you can look at examples of what that map would look like. If you go to their websites, Jackson, Lakes, NSAC, it'll give you an idea of what that looks like. To be able to pull that up, it can make some ownership information, be helpful for cities. The city calls us a lot when current owners and maps and things like that. It just needs to be done, we've waited long enough, so.
This would be accessible to the public. So what I understood.
Yeah.
Tammy, did you hear that? Daryl said this would be accessible to the public, like, is there a fee for subscribing or?
Yes. So like when you get on our Union County website and you go down and click on, property tax, inquiry or however it's worded, and then you go to the assessor's page and it gives you that property information, sketches and photos, things like that. There will also be a GIS tab. Click on that and then it will send you over to the map. And then, people can search the map. And basically, they'll be looking at just what we're looking at when you pull it up in the office.
Does this help your office at all as far as day-to-day operations, or is it just more of a convenience for everybody else?
Well, it helps in terms of the calls that we get and the stopping to pull up the map and then to save the map and then to email the map to a person. And then they may call back and say, wait a minute, they didn't cover that adjacent piece to the east or something, because we're trying to imagine what area they're wanting to look at. So this way, they have it at their fingertips. So yes, it would eliminate a lot of phone calls that we get of people needing maps emailed to them.
Anybody know anybody that lives in Jackson County?
I'll take it.
Let's see how it goes.
Hello.
I'm on Jackson County's website. I'm trying to go where he said so I can pull up a map. So basically I went to the property tax inquiry, I looked somebody up and you're saying it's on there?
Somewhere you will see different websites have different formats, but you should see GIS, an option to click on. Like if you pull up their property, the way ours is set up, and I believe they have to have that also. To the right hand side is like a column with, it'll say, photos, building information. It's like a list, and there should be GIS to click on. We don't have that to click on map or GIS on ours yet.
I believe it's there, I can't find it, but you
Okay.
know what it's like.
Yes, it would be like coming to our office and us pulling that up for you at the counter, you know, pulling the map up. It's just that people would have access to it in their offices, in their homes. You know, I use it here in Langston County just to see who bought the property down the road from me.
That's what we use at
You know,
Coca-Cola.
it's just a tool. And that eliminates their phone call, you know, to the assessor's office. And I was trying to interpret what that person is looking for. You're telling us you're looking for a piece of property at the corner of, two roads, but you can't, you're not sure if it's the northeast, the northwest, the southeast, the southwest.
So
You know,
in
it's
that,
kind of a struggle sometimes when you're waiting on customers. They can look themselves, you know, they may not know their directions, but they know what they're looking for. And they can click on it and find out who the owner is, mailing address, how to get in contact with them.
when I clicked on it over here, it told me the owner is this person. And then it gave me the address and all of that. This is what she's talking about, Jack.
I noticed some of those maps though are actually pretty detailed. And I was wondering, has there been any incidences where the criminal element is actually using some of these sites to look at people's properties to future break-ins and things like that?
Well, I don't have any cases of that I'm aware of. But, you know, that information is all public, so of course they can come into our office and get on the public computer at the counter and look this information up. We can't deny anyone the information if someone, called and wanted. Now, I will say, I even had inquiries from people about having the photos of their property online. And, judges are the only people that can redact their information. But it's just, we're all out there. I can Google my address right now. And apart from the county's website, there's a photo of my house that shows up.
Right.
Just because it's out there. Be it Google Maps, Google Maps, if anybody can pull up Google Maps, they get a street view of our property if Google has driven it. And Google has driven on every road. So it's as if it's out there. There's just, there's no way to keep it private.
I guess my question would be, Google or anything like that would be more of an aerial photo. But the photos I'm talking about are actually from the ground,
Yes.
looking at people's properties, at entrances and things of that nature.
If you go to Google Maps, if you download Google Maps, you go to Google Maps, it has a street view. So you can actually, it's showing you as you're driving down the street. That would be as that vehicle was driving down the street, because they also not only do, aerial, but they do down the roads. Now, I'm sure there's some lanes and roads that they could not drive. And yes, you can pull up a street view on Google Maps. We've utilized it before, so, and that's open to the public also. I mean, Google Maps is just out there.
I think it's really irrelevant to the question.
But home in town, your neighbors are going to see actually everything in town. What I'm talking about is people's farms where they have 100 or 200 acres, and they have another building that's away from their house, and their driveway is a quarter of a mile long. I just wonder if the criminal element, are they utilizing this service to aid in their quote unquote business of robbing from people?
Well, I mean, I don't have any firsthand.
They have Google Earth. They have Google Earth. I mean, this has nothing to do with this. You got Google Earth that can look up anything you want to look at. So
But that's from
From a
outer
map.
space.
the same thing.
I don't
No,
know
it
their
ain't.
website.
Yeah, it's not.
You have Google Earth to look up any person's property. You have the Hunt app out there that has people's property on there. You can look and see buildings, their property lines, everything.
Into the buildings?
Not into the buildings. No, this does not do anything into the buildings. Google Earth just gives you the front door.
So this right here on the screen, what you're looking at here is what Tammy is talking about, and you can kind of see, you can just see where the buildings are. It's more not to look at the building, it's more to click out, find out who the owner is.
And what the property, and your property line.
If I go to Google Maps, I mean, look, I've looked up Davis Farms, I can see his machinery.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a lot more detailed, but it doesn't give you the information like this one does, like over here on the side.
Now, we have a component in our office, you know, when we're on, we can go around, they're not high definition, but you know, we've got different, angles that we can go around the property. It's not as if, we use that, I mean, we can actually measure a ground, you know, from the ground up because of the different angles that we have. They're not gonna have that capability on that website. That's gonna be that view from above. You know, where we have access to the view from above, obviously, but we can also go, you know, around the sides. But as far as I'm thinking from the point of view, I guess, that Google map, I mean, it's just, basically, you can drive down the road, you know, you're viewing it as if it was being driven and being photographed by Google, you know.
Do you have any other questions for Tammy on the mapping? Okay. All right, Tammy, I'll let you go. We're just kind of going through all the stuff and then they're gonna go back and make their decision, so I'll kind of let you. All right. Thank you so much. Bye. And that's the end of our presentation. The circuit clerk, the coroner, human resource, and the treasurer did not ask for it. So,
I don't guess Caitlin asked for anything after you did she?
she did not ask for anything out there.
I asked her last night. She said she.
Well, I'll just tell you, I was telling Caitlin that she needs to ask for a vehicle, because our vehicle rotation plan is working great for the sheriff's office, but the vehicles that we're supposed to give to animal control, I'm not trying to pick on you, we can't because we usually wreck them. So then we don't have a vehicle to give to them, and I know their van at animal control is getting kind of older, but according to Caitlin, she can wait until there's one ready from the sheriff's department. She says she'll just wait, they make it do. So it's on you now, Sheriff. Anyway, so no, she did not request anything. I wanted her to request a vehicle. She said no.
She tell you something she didn't tell me, so.
Nope. She didn't have anything on. I guess I should have had her on here too. Okay, so that's what we have. You guys ready to start saying yeses and nos?
Take a 10-minute break.
That's sure.
I'd like to go.
All right. So, we're gonna take a break for just a few minutes and then we'll be back.